My acid reflux, gone. Haven't had to take a Pepsid. My hair growth, the last 2 times I had my hair cut, the lady had to use thinning shears on my hair. That's amazing. We've also received incredible feedback from you, our listening audience, and the impact it's had for you. This is loaded with astaxanthin. That's a powerful antioxidant. Collagen, but top grade collagen. Studies show 95% of it is being absorbed in the body because of the way they develop it. Then we have something called cat's claw. That's an anti-inflammatory from a vine in Peru. It's the bark, and it's an anti-inflammatory. There are about 80 clinical trials on Bella Grace. Please get a subscription now and save. MelissaHousebg.com.
Good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode of Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for joining me today. And let me start by apologizing for having to take the entire week off last week. I had some travels coming up and also was working on a few things that was almost impossible to squeeze shows in between. So I appreciate your patience. Thank you for not leaving my channels because I was gone for a week. And also, I should say, we just came back. Well, I got back yesterday from Brian House's Worldview Weekend seminar in Memphis, Tennessee. It was amazing. If you did not make it, that's completely okay because you can actually go back and watch all the speakers in the entire event. All you need to do, go to worldviewtube.com, sign up for the vault, and you can access the event. Thursday night was the banquet. It was amazing. Friday and Saturday, a great lineup of speakers, lots of educational material, lots of call to action. And it was fantastic to see those of you who made it. And I want to take an extra moment to say I appreciate you walking up to my table, chit-chatting, talking, connecting, exchanging phone numbers, information, and also supporting my art, making purchases of what was available at the event. It is so, we have a lot to get to today. And I have promised, look, something I've never done before. I actually have printed notes so I don't forget and I don't overdo one segment versus another. And we are live, I should say that, right? We are live. So as always, I will have my eyes on the comment section. If you have comments, if you have questions, if you want to put your 2 cents on whatever it is I'm going to talk about, feel free to do it. And I will glance at the comment section on all platforms, including worldviewtube.com or worldviewtube X account and Rumble and YouTube and the app. If you haven't installed it, it's for free. We're also live on XM Moroccan News X account. We are live on my Facebook, both YouTube channels, Rumble and Substack. So I will be looking at all the comments. And as always, join the conversation and help me through the next hour. It is so amazing. We do this, I do my show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, regularly on Brian House Live. Every time there's a breaking news, every time there's development about Middle East and all that. And it's amazing. This is not undermining this side of it, but when you all gather in the same room, human connection, face to face, hugs and handshakes and talks and the voice you hear, there's a face in front of you. It just boosts your energy. I can say that before heading to Memphis on Thursday, I left Thursday morning. Before heading to Memphis, I was pretty much exhausted mentally. Today, I'm a little tired physically from, the standing on the feet and all that and the drive. But mentally, it's like, I'm ready. Come at me, whatever it is. It was so amazing to feel everyone's energy and commitment. Some people drove 14 hours, 13 hours, 12 hours to get there. It was just amazing. So the last thank should go to Brian House for doing this. I told a few people there at the event that you have got, like him or not, you have got to adore his commitment. Year after year, I think this was the 22nd or 23rd year of the seminar that he's been doing. It's just amazing that the commitment it takes. Look, we showed up. And it's huge, driving there, coordinating, showing up, all of that. But putting this event together every single year, thank you, Brandon, for doing it. I'm very happy I was able to see some of you guys or meet new faces, talk to all the speakers, the experts, Alex Newman, Gordon Chang, Sydney Powell, Dr. Lana. She's amazing. So anyhow, just wanted to open with that positive note, because I don't really have much positive news for you. As you know, my show doesn't bring so much winning. So that's that. And here's what we're going to cover today. A lot has happened. Of course, I took a whole week off. Starting Thursday, I was barely even posting. I want to say I probably stopped posting altogether Friday, Saturday, Sunday on my Facebook, on my Substack, which, by the way, is to my Substackers. Thank you. You guys are amazing. As soon as I posted yesterday or last night, you all came back with letting me know that you have missed my reporting. And I did inform you we'll be back today, and we are back today with a full Substack and a couple of reports I put up this morning and now the show. So thank you for acknowledging my absence, and I'm glad that some of you noticed. But a lot has happened since Thursday. Some have gone on, not getting coverage. Some got some coverage, some are getting twisted coverage. So there's a lot to talk about. Our next segment, segment 2, 3, and 4. On segment 2, we're going to talk Syria. On segment 3, we're going to talk Lebanon. And then on last segment, we're going to talk Georgia, the state of Georgia. I know, all over the map, but these three are going to have their own segment. But on first segment, I just want to touch on a few things fairly briefly. So let's very briefly address, because a week before last, I covered Qatar, or some of you call it Qatar, it's Qatar, closest to the proper pronunciation. So I don't need to dissect it too much. I'm just going to say this for those of you who missed it, because this one, again, I literally found it on White House website. It wasn't plastered, though it should be, but it wasn't plastered. But on Thursday, President Trump issued an executive order. The executive order, in general, is it is guaranteeing protection for Qatar's sovereignty and security. And this isn't us funding him. This, to be exact, as anyone or any government or any country that attacks Qatar, United States of America will defend Qatar through diplomacy, negotiation, or even military actions. Most of you who know me by now, you know, to me, this is absolutely ridiculous. With background of Qatar, its involvement, its government's involvement with destruction and blood of Americans, I can't even comprehend. And again, if this was Biden or Obama, I would have the whole, well, I'm not even surprised. Not that I was surprised by Trump signing this. And being it an executive order, this is where I will have to say that this is too much of a stretch, President Trump. There is no reason whatsoever for our man and a woman to sacrifice their life for Qatar's sovereignty and security. No reason. None. You are more than welcome to consider Qatar as your close ally who has bailed out Kushner from bankruptcy of 666 Fifth Avenue. You're more than welcome to continue doing personal business with them, with your golf course or your hotels, or them bailing out properties here in America. That's fine. But as the President of the United States of America, when you use your pen to issue an executive order, you have crossed the line. Absolutely have. Again, Qatar is not our ally. There are plenty proof within the White House issued reports and press briefings and all of that, that Qatar's government, not a bunch of Qataris, Qatar government has been pretty much behind Jihad. There is absolute direct proof on the paper. Not, you don't have to go be an investigative journalist. You can just literally Google it. How's that? That Qatar has solely funded the built existence and survival of Hamas. So for you to issue this executive order, you crossed the line. A lot of your supporters are going to continue calling it a 3D chess and you know what you're doing. There's a bigger picture. I hope they come to realize that they are counting on the wrong deal maker, but I'm not one of them. It is pretty clear to me that you have mixed business and pleasure. It is very clear to me, Mr. President Trump, that you do not know how to draw the line between America first, Americans' safety, versus your personal empire building financially. That's for that. Second part of issue with this executive order. For anyone who really needs giant dots to be connected for them, let me connect them for you. The only country and military that has attacked Qatar recently is Israel. Remember, a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Israel military blew up a building in Qatar, in Doha, exactly, to take out some of the heads of Hamas. A lot of question was involved there, but this is not the time for it. So President Trump, when you signed this executive order, you became the first president to actually sign an executive order that will directly make our military stand up against Israel. So think about it. I don't think you're going to take this executive order back. I don't think you weren't aware of what you were signing. I do not believe for a second this was Witkoff giving you bad advice. However, I will continue praying that you come to your senses that with your let me rephrase that, with your greedy deal making, you are going to go down in history as the first American president who signed an executive order for U.S. military to possibly have to go to war with Israel. We got to go take our ad break. I will take a look at the comments while we're on our ad break. If there's anything, I'll address them. But when we come back, we're going to head over to Syria, the other new buddy of Trump administration. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Well, hello, everybody. It's Annie Cyrus. Welcome to my art studio where all the magic happens. This is the station for painting, and that is the station for all the resin art I do. If you want to check out my art, all you gotta do is go to lutfstudio.com. But I'm sure, or at least I hope, I'll see you at lutfstudio.com. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. If you did, and talk about lutfstudio.com. That is one of the best ways you can support my work. You all know what I do on air, on my Substack, or working on the book. I'm not paid to do any of that. You guys support me by either becoming a paid subscriber on Substack or purchasing my art. That's how I get to continue doing this. Our Christmas sale will be starting this Friday. New inventory will be coming, including some Christmas. I've never done it, but I did some, and I took them with me to Memphis, and I was surprised how many people actually like the ornaments and the decoratives. So they will be added to our inventory by Friday. Also some new keychains and accessories such as earrings and necklaces. However, the sales will start this Friday and we will run it all the way until December 9th. So from this Friday until December 9th is your chance to pick up whatever you need, gifts for Christmas or decorations if you need to boost up your decoration in the house or on your tree. I am doing ornaments. That is your chance to get them for best price you can. LUTFstudio.com. That's LUTFstudio.com. Use promo code MISSION to get extra discount on top of the sales that's going to be going on. Okay. Let's head over to Syria. As you know, I'm still very upset with the fact that Jelani, aka al-Shara, was given a visa to come to America, to New York last week. Well, it's more like 10 days ago, during the UN General Assembly. Since I brought that up, for those of you who might have missed it, if you're not on my Substack, I had a full coverage of the 7 days of UN General Assembly. I literally put every day into one Substack. It is free to public, so you don't even have to be a paid subscriber. And I gave you the exact picture of which country said what on bullet point format. So instead of you having to sit there and listen to 7 days of 10 hours a day speeches and talk and slogans running around, you can just scan through those. So go check those out. However, he made it here. He had access to UN stage to stand there and talk peace. Quick reminder, if you don't know who Jelani or Shara is, it's the good-looking guy in a suit that is now friends with President Trump and Trump administration. Also, supposedly the transitional president of Syria since January of 2025, when his I shouldn't use that term, his jihadist soldiers toppled Assad's regime. And back then, even people were like, yay, Syria has been freed. I'm like, yay. No, it has not been. It has gone from Assad, who is a terrible dictator, now to hands of a wanted and a hunted jihadist. Jelani al-Shara, I refer to him as Jelani because that's his terrorist name. When he became the Al-Qaeda member from the ISIS soldier from his own chapter, he dropped his birth name of al-Shara, which is the way you say it, but if you were going to say it in Syrian Arabic, it would have been al-Shara, the root of Sharia. I thought that's an interesting point that when mispronunciations happen, we miss some meanings. Anyways, he dropped his birth name and he used Jelani. He became Mohammed Jelani, meaning from Jalan, which you call Gulen, Syrian Jelani, showing his jihadist interest. Anyways, those are probably all beside the point, even though they are the main point. When he left New York, he headed back to Syria. And when he was getting that visa, I actually said on my show and some of my reporting and some posts, I said, let's drop pretending like he's a transitional government and is the transitional president. He's permanent. He is permanent. First of all, it's been 9 months. At that point, it was 9 months. 9 months he holds power, and his jihadists are the official military of the country. Now with this visa and with his stand at that UN, he's definitely going to gain the recognition. And it happened to take a step further when he went back after his soldiers did a quick sweep of one of the Druzi towns, killing 36 Druzis. Then they held their first official election. The election was for the Syrian parliament. Okay? It wasn't for the president. It wasn't for people of Syria to say, do we even want this guy or not? So after 10 months, who cares, right? Al-Jelani has taken the seat, so it is what it is. We all complain about Assad being a dictator who doesn't allow people to vote or not vote, and he's never going to leave that seat, right? But it's okay if Jelani just took the seat because he could, and then Western governments, especially American government, shook his hand, lifted his sanctions, gave him a nice Armani suit, called him a good-looking guy, and pretty much legitimized his power. That's okay, right? Anyhow, they did their parliament election. And let's dissect this for 6 minutes, because that's what I have left on this segment. When we say parliament, especially in America, there is a very yay happy feeling about it. But let me tell you how the Syrian parliament, now, mind you, the parliament, the formatting of government has always been there. So it's not like he reformed anything. He didn't. It was always there. However, for this one, what happened was, now how it breaks, there are 210 seats at the Syrian parliament. And with the recent one, and by the way, this election, parliament election, pretty much started Friday, and it kind of sort of concluded yesterday, being Sunday. Out of that 210 seats, 1/3, being 70 seats, is going to be selected and appointed parliament seats directly by the president of Syria. Who's the president? Gilani, exactly. And then the remaining 2/3 are going to be appointed. There are no voting. The people are not voting, okay? Those remaining 2/3 of seats are going to be appointed by the committees and other government officials. Who are those? Gilani. Now, one thing that was very clear from day one, and it was announced, is the areas in Syria that are majority Kurds and Druzes will not be included. They won't take their seats, but their seats are going to stay empty. Reasoning behind that was not given. Now, I don't want to do the parallel side-by-side comparison thing, because a lot of people tend to think I'm defending the other bad guy. So I'm not going to do that. I'll just stick with what we have. When this parliament election, which is a selection, got going, is when Gilani's administration said this should and will follow the constitution of Syria. This isn't the Assad constitution or EU constitution or American constitution. This is the Syrian constitution that Gilani himself, with his guys, and when I say guys, I'm referring, if you look up Gilani and his people, you'll see. Before he was rebranded by Western countries, it's the full-on jihadi. You see his picture with his Palestinian chafieh around his neck and his weapon all over the place when the United States of America had $10 million bounty on him. That was right before President Trump lifted that bounty. Did I forget to mention that one? Yes. The $10 million bounty on Gilani was lifted by President Trump, not Biden or Obama. But that, again, that's probably beside the point, because we don't point out those issues. Those are all part of 3D chess. I want to quickly read a couple of the terms of or articles of this constitution. The Gilani Constitution. We should call it Syrian Constitution, but it's Gilani Constitution. First of all, it is given a 5 years shelf life. So it is going to be valid until 2030. 2030. So I go back to, do we want to continue calling it a transitional government? Transitional government is normally a couple of months. While someone trusted holds the government, so there is no civil war or coup or anything like that going on until either people will pick their candidate to take power, or Western countries come in with their color revolution and put their puppet in place. Either way, the transitional president, prime minister, whatever the position is, doesn't write a 5 years valid constitution. That doesn't happen. But again, what do I know? I'm just an Islamophobe. The Constitution declares that Islamic jurisprudence is the official religion, and that Islamic law is the main source of legislation. What else does this constitution says? The president possesses full executive power, can appoint ministers, veto legislations, and declare a state of emergency. The role of prime minister is abolished. Giuliani abolished the role of prime minister in Syria, and Giuliani has full control. Now, this is where I posted and I said, looky, election in Syria under Giuliani. We make that country so much better. Make Syria great again. You know, we have sent our representatives over there. That's why they're doing the parliament election, because we taught them. We showed them how to make Syria great again. Abolish the role of prime minister. Giuliani will have full control no matter who's selected for parliament. They can make as many rules as they want. They have to follow Sharia for legislation. And then at the end of the day, Giuliani just can say, no. I can see your comments coming in, guys. I promise I will look at them as soon as we come back from ad break after the segment. 2/3, this is what just happened. Constitution also said 2/3 of the People's Assembly, the parliament, or legislators, are to be elected via committees and electoral college rather than by direct public vote. Again, that's not an election, that's a selection. The remaining 1/3 of members will be appointed by the president. The Supreme Court is to be reconstituted with its judges appointed by the president. You get the picture. You can look up their constitution online. The president must be a Muslim. That is actually another article of the Giuliani Constitution. That's all good. You get the picture. Congratulations, Saudi Arabia, Trump administration, United States of America. You have made another great country in Middle East. Let's keep shaking his hand. Let's keep calling him good-looking guy, and let's keep sending our representatives spend our tax dollars to make Syria great again, while Giuliani, the president, the man who was hunted and wanted by United States of America until a year ago, with $10 million worth of bounty, is going to control it all. We got to go to our second ad break. Don't go anywhere, because when I come back, we're going to address comments. And then from there, we're going to head over to Lebanon, where it gets even more fun. We'll be right back.
But with Brandon, it's always cutting edge stuff happening in the world. And it's not just from the political angle, because you can get that on other platforms, but it's always from the biblical angle. So you're dealing with a guy that loves Jesus, you're dealing with a guy that's very intelligent, you're dealing with a guy that is cutting edge conservatism, and you're dealing with a guy that wants to be biblical all at the same time. And so for that reason alone, I hope many, many people will not just lift up his ministry in prayer, but will also financially get behind it, because from the angle I'm trying to describe, he really is the only game in town. And we desperately need it in these last days. Can I get an amen to that?
Amen. Welcome back to Live Up to Freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. This is about to get more fun. Peymanjan, hi, good to see you. And hi, Delbar Khanum, good to see you too on the comment section. 1004 Floyd says, maybe a long subject, but I think Gaza is Israel's, not to be given away. They never should have. actually, I agree. That is not a long subject at all. It's a very short subject. It's as short as you just said. Gaza belongs to Israel. End of the story. Nobody else should butt in. Nobody else should own it. Nobody should buy it. Nobody should definitely build a 15-minute city there. Agreed with you. Theo, it is so good to see you. Good afternoon to you as well. Hediye John, it's so good to see you. I already miss you. I know I said it on Facebook, but I actually miss you. And agreed. She says, unbelievable. This is travesty. And it's about to get worse. And yes, Theo, he did. You're right. He said he's a handsome, not just a good looking guy, but handsome. I want to be very clear for the record. I don't just disagree with President Trump with his foreign policy, or his view of Islam. I absolutely disagree with him on his taste of good-looking or handsome in man. But that is probably a subject for, I don't know, if I ever do a dating show, I can go over that. Okay, let's head over to Lebanon because there's a lot going on over there. And by the way, by the time we wrap up this show, which is 26 minutes from now, for those of you who are watching on Substack, head over to my homepage because a Substack is coming out about the Lebanon topic we're going to talk about. But instead of having, 10 minutes or so to talk about it, I broke it down in much more details for your information on my Substack. So today's Substack release will be the Lebanon. Again, another thing that did not get much attraction, or if it did, it got the whole yay, another win, great, he should be nominated for a peace prize because, we're doing so great in the Middle East. So, United States of America on Friday approved to send $230 million. That's $230 million to Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah. Every time I say this sentence on Friday at the event, I actually shared this with Hediye, I shared it with Brandon, I shared it with Dr. Andy Woods and a couple other people. Every single time I just start laughing. Though it's a very serious topic, but that one sentence on its own tells you how dangerously Trump administration has no idea they're playing with fire. $230 million to be sent to Lebanon to disarm Hezbollah. I think I have the breakdown here. Hold on. Bear with me because I think I did. Did I break it down? Yes. Okay. So officially, $190 million will be going to Lebanese armed forces. Okay, LAF. Lebanese armed forces. And $40 million is going to go to internal security forces. Okay. And I want to be very clear. Guys, this is not some military aid, okay? We're not sending weapons or whatever. We're sending actual cash, actual money. $230 million in cash. It's like literally going to people. Money. Now, why is this a problem? Well, I feel like my audience already knows. You guys are too educated. But let's break it down. Lebanon government to disarm Hezbollah. Hezbollah is Lebanon government. And for anybody, especially in our administration, to claim they don't know that or that they disagree with that, they're either part of the game or they should not have the position they have because United States of America very well should know that Hezbollah is the government of Lebanon. By the way, that's another thing I need to cover on a show or a Substack. Listen, Lebanon is another failed Western Empire color revolution. Let's not forget that. But point is, again, Obama administration have done it. On the Substack, I have the breakdown. I went back to 2006, guys. Okay, I went back all the way to 2006 from Obama. Okay, I went back to Bush administration, then Obama, then Trump, then Biden, back to Trump, right? And I broke it down. There are dates available. Between military aid, meaning weapons and equipment or training, and actual cash, like the 230 million that's out now, between the two, United States of America has wasted, I'm not going to say spent, wasted about a little over $6 billion on disarming Hezbollah. $6 billion under both Rhino, Democrat, Republican administrations. $6 billion of American tax dollar has been wasted under pretending, oh, we don't like Hezbollah and we're fighting Hezbollah and we're going to disarm Hezbollah. Now, if anybody on my audience or someone randomly watching this and not my usual audience, if you're saying, but look, Hezbollah is really weakened. Yes, but that has nothing to do with America. Stop taking credit from Israel and their military and give it to America, okay? United States of America did not, I repeat, did not fight Hezbollah. Israel military is fighting Hezbollah. Jewish people in Israel are taking fire every day from Hezbollah, not us. What we have been doing is constantly funding them so they can continue dropping bombs on Jewish people. Hassan Nasrallah was not taken out by CIA or our soldiers. Hassan Nasrallah was taken out by Mossad, by IDF, by Israel. So again, goes back to the few of the following question. Does it really matter who's the president of the United States of America anymore? Because it seems like, no, it doesn't matter. Now, you want to sleep better tonight by saying Trump doesn't know better? Fine. I think he does. But okay, let's say he doesn't know better. His advisors don't know better? Fine. So when do you think we're going to care to have people in our government that do know better? When are we done with our selective outrage? Never, I know. I know. None of these, I know the answer to every single one of these questions I'm asking. I'm asking them to see if any of you are going to actually, for a second, ask yourself that question. And will that question spark a little bit of motivation in your head to say, listen, maybe I should stop. Maybe I should stop covering up for demonic decisions made by, regardless of administration, but my country. Maybe I'm looking for that spark in people's mind or heart, especially my fellow Christians. The Lebanese armed forces, again, I have gone through so much detail on the Substack, but I kept it short, very bullet pointy, which is not my style normally. The Lebanese armed forces, a lot of them, a lot of the soldiers will go unpaid if it wasn't for the aid we send, okay? Which might say, well, then good. It's good that we're giving them aid. We're giving them money so they can pay their soldiers. But I will take you to Afghanistan for a second. All that money, all that time, all those lives, all that equipment, did we actually train an Afghan military to fight Taliban? Or did we keep fooling ourselves? Because that's the same thing. Since 2006 until today is a year short of 20 years. Year short of 20 years. We have funded the payroll of Lebanese armed forces, and they're still short. They can't fight. Not because they don't have the training. No, because they don't lie to themselves. Okay. Lebanese people, I mean, most of you are familiar with Brigitte Gabriel, right? Bridget Gabriel from Lebanon, who have told you the truth. She has told you that people of Lebanon, including the government of Lebanon, including the military of Lebanon, they know better than try to fight Hezbollah. They are purposely kept weak. If you look at the inventory of equipment of Lebanese armed forces, you might roll on the floor laughing and then sit there and cry. For all the equipment, military equipment aid we have provided them since 2006, you might ask yourself, wait a minute, where are these equipments going? Where are these weapons going? You want to take a guess? Good job. Yes, that's where it's going. Now, completely not a highlight of this, but when I was putting together the chart of breakdown from 2006, it was just curious. I referred to it jokingly on my Substack as a coincidence. George Bush in 2006 approved of $230 million. About 20 years later, Trump just did $230 million. I don't know. That was interesting. Faith is the victory on Rumble says Al-Jolani is an unelected president of Syria. That's exactly the point, though. That is the point. Unelected. I mean, they are all unelected. Well, Khomeini was not elected. Khamenei today was not elected. Assad was not elected. Mahmoud Abbas was not elected. That is the whole pattern. You followed by saying, wow, what a mess. I didn't know the parliament wasn't elected. How strange that is a sign. Yes, that's the thing. I have said faith is the victory many times in many different occasions that when you hear the English words used, don't take them as your understanding of that word. Look into what they mean or how they operate that chapter or that branch of their government. There are differences. Guys, we're going to take our last ad break. When we come back, I'll address the rest of the comments, and then we're coming back home. We're going to head over to state of Georgia. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Brandon House. Is the government tracking you? Do they have access to all your data? Well, if you go to worldviewtalk.com, you'll find out about a cell phone company that, well, does not store your data. They don't do that. This is what they're known for. They don't store your data. You have privacy. You're not being tracked. That's why a lot of folks are turning to worldviewtalk.com. You'll find their prices are very competitive. All the details are there at worldviewtalk.com. Again, worldviewtalk.com. Oh, while you're there, not only do they have cell phones that aren't tracking you, you can find out about how to get a satellite phone. Should the whole system go down and you want to communicate with a family member or a loved one, you might want to have a satellite phone. Or how about their solar generators? They have great solar generators. Check them all out right now. Worldviewtalk.com, worldviewtalk.com.
To live up to freedom. Thank you so much for staying with me until now. I appreciate you being here. And yes, Tom, I agree. Tom says, worry about America. You already have a Muslim city. Well, we have 18 Muslim cities, but that's, again, besides the point. Hey, William, great to see you. Devana, I hope I did not butcher your name, says, it is so confusing, but God is bringing everything together to fulfill his holy world. Amen. However, we have to know what's coming. And we need to play our role. Theo says, is it about the resources offshore, Annie? If you're talking about all of these purposely failed color revolutions and coups and all the chaos, murder, bloodshed, bloodbath in Middle East, that is part of it. It's not all of it, but that is part of it. Yes. And I know it's hard for us to think any of our leaders would ever watch innocent people die, but they would worry about their, gas and oil and imports from Middle East and all the gems that are sitting in Middle East. But that's the way it is. Politics is dirty, very dirty, if that is a term to use. Okay, we are. Oh, thank you, Dawn. Dawn says, I love your sarcasm. You put humor into serious topics. Dawn, if I don't do that, I think I'm going to be off air fairly quickly on World YouTube. So in order to keep my cool and not either break into tears or start screaming like a jihadi, I need to use sarcasm, but I appreciate that. I'm glad you are picking up on it. Okay, I have to make sure to talk about this one. I would like to introduce you to the new candidate, the Democrat candidate in Georgia for governor. Can we pop up her face up there? Because it feels like it's so much more revealing when you introduce someone. So her name is Arowa Rahman. She is, well, look at that fabulous hijab and modesty. And let's not forget about the Palestinian chafia. Like, I mean, do I need to talk or do you pick up on what you're just looking? Yes, she seems to have been born in Jordan, right? And here's the interesting part. I am going to give her credit on a few things, so just bear with me. She was born in 1993, so she's 10 years younger than me. That would make her 31 years old. She was born in 1993 in Jordan. And I believe she immigrated to America with her family, either 7, 8 years old. So lucky her, she wasn't an adult woman yet. She still had a year or two to go under her faith. But she identifies as a Palestinian, right? Though born in Jordan. Supposedly her parents were, Palestinians. And that is the correct statement. If we were going to hold UK responsible for their promise, right, to Palestinians, then yes, if you were born in Jordan, you're Palestinian. Because that is what the deal was. Anyways, I want to quickly go over her. I have printed some of her voting record. Oh, I should probably say that she is already, what is her position in 22, I think. Yeah, in 22, she already became, in Georgia, she became a state legislator. So it's not like she's not new, but now she wants to be the governor, right? Way more power. But here's all of her voting record just recently. So she voted yeah on the issue that would repeal exemption to a state minimum wage for employees with disabilities. One of her biggest platforms that she's running on, by the way, she just announced Friday, she announced that she's throwing her name in the hat. And then I have some of her nay, because these are interesting. The first nay was on SB 68, which establishes new guidelines for personal injury lawsuits. And she did not like the new guidelines. Apparently, the guidelines would limit a scam. But that's not the most important point. We move on to SB 144. She said, nay, to the legislation that would prohibit transgender girls from playing on female sport teams. Can you imagine that? You identify as the first Palestinian Muslim state legislator in Georgia, very proud Muslim, clearly, very proud Palestinian, practicing Sharia, but then you wouldn't want to ban transgender girls from playing in female sports. Maybe you should try, helping transgender girls or boys or gays or lesbians or whatever queer, whatever is left of that you're saying nay to limiting their rights. Maybe you should try helping them in Gaza. Maybe Syria. Head over to Iran. You want to do that? Rawa. And then, of course, she says nay again on SB1, which prohibits transgender girls from. It was a repeat or follow-up of the original bill. Now, this is where her resume is amazing. Of course, she has gone to university, gone to school, very well educated. But, before running in 2022 and being elected, she was the communication director for Council on American Islamic Relations chapter of Georgia. I will literally rest my case right here. When you were trained by CARE, now, when you were born in Jordan, came to America at age 7 or 8, continued to be a Muslim girl, Muslim woman, wear the hijab, wear the chafia, scream free Palestine, call Israel a genocidal occupier, and then went to CARE for training, then became a state legislator, and now want to become a governor. Who do you think we are, Rabba? I mean, I know there are many people out there who would vote for you just for the fact that you're a woman, just for the fact that you're a Muslim, just for the fact that you are an oppressed Palestinian. But most of us Americans who actually care about America, and instead of screaming free Palestine or even free Israel, because that's the true combination of words that should be used on protest, we say protect Americans. We say America first. So nowhere in her message do you see any of that. From the time she worked, and again, communications director, right there should be one of the biggest red flags. Trained by CARE and being communication director, like the manipulation has been drilled into you. I don't know how or who except Muslims of Georgia are going to vote for her or trust her, but Georgians, heads up, she's coming. Try to pay attention, and if you allow a Palestinian Muslim woman who was trained by CARE become your governor, forget about your state going from red to blue, worry about your state going from red to green. Okay? Okay, I should mention this. As we get closer, probably early January of next year, I'm gonna be zooming in. Based on my record right now, the number of Muslims running for midterm is doubled the number of 2018. Now, for those of you who might have not followed me back then or followed me but didn't pay enough attention, in 2018, I put out a report showing the increase in number of Muslims running, and even scarier, the number of them winning. 2/3 won. And with that, the jump as of today, we have more than, I don't have everybody yet, but we have more than 282 Sharia obeying Muslim representatives across the country, from local to state to federal. Based on my gather of names, now adding her to it, if the pattern of 2018 to 2024 continues, by 2026, there is a very good chance that United States of America will be having over 420 Sharia obeying Muslims in, again, local, state, or federal positions. Look at the numbers and the percentages, and I will remind you of Quran 47:35. That's chapter 47, verse 35, if I'm getting that right. Do not call for peace when you are majority in numbers. Okay? So, just going to leave that out there. But if you're in Georgia, pay attention to this very modest hijab, very chafia, very varying. She actually was very vocal. Let me put this out there as we were coming to closing. She was very vocal on everything that was going on in colleges. And also, she was very much cheering for Netanyahu being dragged into International Criminal Court after October 7th. So that was the update for today. I know it was a lot. I actually didn't give you, I had 12, so I'm going to spread it during the week. I only gave you the 4 updates for today. I will be joining Brandon House, however, tonight for discussion of Hamas, Israel, and the 20-point deal. In the last 2 minutes left, let me address whatever we have on comments. Cynthia said this female jihadi running for governor needs to be deported. Well, we don't have cause to deport her, but I think it's time to put some laws in place that if you're going to run for any position, local, state, or federal in America, your loyalties should be with us, you know. We should have started that with Rashida wrapping herself in a Palestinian flag the night she won, but I don't think that's going to happen. Robert says, God bless you, Uni. Thank you. God bless you as well. You're part of the Army for Truth, like others in their field, such as Charlie Kirk was, and others I won't mention for obvious reasons. Keep up the good fight. Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. Amen. And I appreciate your words of encouragement. Hedia says the Islamic conquest of America is in full swing. Wake up, church. Yes. Yes, love. We do need to wake them all up. Okay, I got a couple of seconds left. Substack, live up to freedom. liveuptofreedom.substack.com. I do need your support, guys. Become a paid subscriber monthly if you can. Annually if you can't, monthly. I really need the support as I'm pushing to get the book out as soon as possible and continue reporting the way I do. liveuptofreedom.substack.com. And as I said, our Christmas sales will start this Friday at lutfstudio.com, lutfstudio.com. Lots of Christmas items, lots of gift items, and 30% off across my store. Thank you so much for being here with me. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Until then, stay safe and stay.
I'll tell you one little quick story. We had a Worldview Weekend client who lived in California, lost their house. Very wealthy guy. He didn't use Bitcoin. He came over here, drove to Arizona with $286,000 worth of his gold because he had no money.